Today we're going to discuss the importance of internal links within our websites, why it's important not just from a usability and user experience perspective, but also from a search engine optimization perspective as well. Spoiler alert, by having websites that are delightful and easy to navigate for our users also means that Google's going to respond positively as well. And that's the crux of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create a process that's so seamless, so easy for our users to navigate from one page on our website to the other, that Google will respond in kind. There's another key and hugely important issue here as well. By sending our visitors from one page on our website to another page on our site, and hopefully in a chain link of multiple pages, that's keeping their session time longer on our websites. The longer we keep our visitors on our site, the more likely they are to buy from us, to get the message in terms of what we're trying to deliver. They're going to develop a rapport with us, but most importantly, Google uses this as a really important tracker to see whether our website is useful for the person who's navigating to it. At the end of the day, Google wants to look after its visitors and not you as the website designer, host, or owner. You are really not important. Get over the fact that Google doesn't love you and start showing the love to your visitors, and for which Google will return in kind. So for today, we're going to look at how we can create internal links from one page in Squarespace to another, and also the different ways that we can do this so that we can mix up the formatting and styling of our sites. So without any further ado, let's crack on. Okay, to kick things off, I thought I'd give you a behind-the-scenes tour of our Pixelhaze Academy website. This is built on Squarespace, and we've used a number of features, things like section dividers, to make it look less like a blocky traditional website and to give it a little bit more energy and a bit more life. So even things like the parallax effects here. But today we're going to look at how links take us from one web page to another. And in this case, it's an external link, so probably not the best example to start with. So let's just look at other examples here. So in these blocks here, we've got a link in the text and we've got a link for the title. So what that means is we can actually link to two different pages in here. If users follow that link and stay on the website for longer, view multiple pages, that's really good as well. A great rule of thumb is generally you want each visitor to view at least 2 pages, ideally 3 or more. And the bigger the website you get, the more focused your website is to your target audience, the more likely it is that you will keep your visitors on your website for longer. It's not a hard and fast rule. There are plenty of anomalies that sit outside of that, but that's generally a good starting point. If we look at this here, for example, we've got our bootcamp page here, and it mentions bootcamps in this introductory section. So if I click edit, I can edit the text now. From this section here, I can click on the link button. Now I can link to another page in the site. I've got 2 options. I can either start typing in, and don't worry if you see it no longer highlighted there, the link will work, I promise you. I can start typing if I know the name of the page. So that's option 1. Or I can go into more advanced options and select it to open in a new tab. We're talking about internal links, so we don't want to do that because we'll end up with multiple browser tabs open for pages on the same site, which is not a great user experience. We can actually switch whether we want to link to an external website address, a file, or a page in the site, even email address, and we can link to a phone number. So if someone's looking it up on their mobile phone, they can press that number to call. But we're going to keep it as this default option /bootcamp. That should, if I put the right page and the right link in there, that should work. So I'm saving that, exiting. And now we can check that link. And hurrah, it goes through to the right page. Here we've got another example of a different type of link. So if I click edit, we can see that this is a button. To add a button, we click add block in the top left-hand corner. If you're not on the Fluid engine, you'll see an upgrade option instead. And I'll show you how the Squarespace 7 or 7.1 pre-Fluid engine works. Because Squarespace at the moment is still working hybrid on the 2, so you can actually create a traditional Squarespace page structure or use Fluid engine. I'd recommend jumping over to Fluid engine in most cases because you get more fluidity in the way that you lay out your pages. We've got our button. We can position it where we want to. And if I double click on that button, we can see we've got the same link option. So once again, I can link to another page. If I wanted to link that to FAQs, I can do that. And press save, and I can also change that. Now the FAQs aren't about bootcamp, they're nothing related to this at all, so I'm just going to delete that demo button I've created. A couple more things before we do it. We can actually change the width, and there will be more options as well. For example, we've got a default primary, secondary, and tertiary style that I've decided to leave very similar. You can also go into the design option here and get it to fit, so it'll adjust to the width of the text, or fill depending on how many grid blocks you've covered. So those just are a few styling options that you can have a play around with. Once you've got a style that you want on one page and you want multiple buttons, you can press Command and D on a Mac or Control D on a PC, or you can press this duplication button here to create another button of which you can change the link and also the text that goes on that button. Those are additional buttons, but if I was to double click on this one, we can see that this one's actually linking to a PDF document. And how does this work? If I click on the cog, we can link to a file. So we can upload a file here and then link to that. And we can go to our file uploader, upload a new file, tick it in the box, and then that link will link to a PDF document. The great thing about using PDF documents over things like Word documents is that PDF documents will open up as a new tab in the browser, so your visitors aren't leaving the website browser to have that continuous experience, and that's really important. We want to make sure that we've got a really nice flow through the site. Other types of links. Here we've embedded a video, which essentially is a link, and we've got different options feeding off this YouTube video. So the option to share it, for example, is all available. We can also make an image link. So we know that we can create any text in any text block and image a link. We can also convert an image into a link as well. So with this image in place, I can select one that's already in the library. Let's just choose this light bulb. And we've got this small light bulb image in here. Even though this isn't about formatting images, in this particular session today, I will just show you how we can change that to fill. And our image has disappeared. When I save the image, it'll work again. So if I save the page, I don't really want to save it for long, because I don't want that image on this page. But there we go. So the image is in place. I can double click on it now, and I can add an alt text, which is really good for search engines, and also make the link on image. And again, we've got our linking options as well. We can also go into the design option here, and we can apply image effects if we want as well. So when we overlay it, there's also the option for an overlay on the image as well, and various effects that we can add. So all in all, quite a lot we can do with that. So there we go. So those are just two image options. Now we can actually do something quite different as well. If we were to add a normal, traditional Squarespace 7 classic editor layout, I'll get to the word in a minute. Classic editor, that's the one I was after. And if we click add blank, this is what I was talking about earlier. So if you see this and you've got the upgrade option, you can choose then to switch to Fluid Engine. But the one thing we have with images in this section, if we go to design, we've got different layout options, things like card options. And here we can add a button to link to another page, and you can style it and add an image in. So I'm just going to remove that. So we've got image card options, image blocks as well. So that's by just creating the classic editor option. So it's really good that Squarespace haven't just killed off the classic editor. It would have caused so many headaches in terms of upgrading across. Whilst it's still available, I'd recommend using the card image effect if you want something like that. The great news is that you can actually blend in and mix and match between Fluid Engine sections and classic editor sections all on the same page. So you don't have to upgrade an entire page to Fluid Engine. Final area before I wrap up, I wanted to show you what we've got going on with our blog. For example, we've got this blog post about our new FAQ feature, which we are aiming to build a huge range of FAQs, all free, and linking it up to a new chatbot that we're building to ensure that you can ask one of, say, 500 different questions, and the chatbot will be loaded with answers all around Squarespace. But here, for example, we've got our offers in banners. This is another way of linking within the site. If I click edit, some of these are linking to external sites, to our online store. Some of them are internal. So this is a custom code block that I've created. We're looking to create this as a plugin, so you can add advertisement banners to your site. And this is using JavaScript, and I've just put a little comment in here. So I would change the ad group to a different topic, and it would change the banner advert that appears in that code block. So again, we can use custom code block options to create our adverts. And what we've got is a series of different adverts that will rotate depending on whether you press refresh or not. I've actually created the JavaScript for that using ChatGPT. Finally, we've got summary blocks. This allows you to link content from one page in a site, but it needs to be a blog, a calendar, or an online store. And you can add products or blog posts on any other page by adding in a summary block. And my favorite, if you followed my other videos, would be this carousel, because I just really like the clean format that it generates, and it allows you to flick through various articles. So we've got a related post section that, again, works really well. So that was a whistle-stop tour. We are creating tutorials that take you step by step for each of these processes, called our Hyperdrive series, and we're creating a new YouTube channel to house those called Squarespace Guides. I'd recommend heading across and taking a look. I'll leave a link for that channel here as well. These videos going forward won't just be about Squarespace. With our Pixelhaze channel, we are looking to have more of a deep dive into how we use techniques. So it's less of how do I do this in Squarespace and more why should I do this in Squarespace, the strategy behind it as well. Hope you'd enjoyed this. If you have, please hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we are looking to really drive the channel forward, and your help would be hugely appreciated. See you next time.